Hello, this is Mr. Hatton, and today we're going to be working with just a basic introduction to getting started with Microsoft Word. And so I'm going to be using Microsoft Word 2016 in this version, but if you're using Microsoft Word 2013 or an older version, most of the things will be the same. There will be some slight differences as far as like the names of some of the tabs and some of the different buttons, but most of that will be the same. So this is the screen that will come up when you launch Microsoft Word from your computer. And so whether you've found the file or if you have it saved to your desktop, this is the first screen that will come up. And so you can see it's given us some different options. And so what these are different templates that we can choose to start with. The one that we're going to most commonly use with working with Microsoft Word is either a blank single-space document or just a blank document. If we choose the blank document, it's going to have some format. It's going to be automatically double-spaced and have some different spacing options. Single space is going to be also just a blank document, but this one's going to have it already set to a single space option. And so if you're working with the Microsoft Word and PowerPoint course, most of your documents are going to be started with a single space blank document. So all we do is we click on that one, we can click Create, and you can see that it's opened up the document that we have here. So just some basic introduction things to look through when we are navigating through Microsoft Word. The first thing to see is the different tabs that we have at the top. We have a file option, which is going to give us a lot of our backstage view to where we can see some of the different options about the document. Home, Insert, Draw, Design, Layout, Reference, Mailings, Review, and View. All of these are going to be options that we can work through that will give us different ribbon options. The ribbon is this next bar down that has all of our different commands that we can choose. They're divided into groups, and so in the Home tab we have a clipboard group, font, paragraph, styles, and editing group. And so with those, within each group, we then have a set of commands that we can use. Most, but not all groups are also going to have a dialog box launcher that if we click on this option, it will give us more advanced options for within that group. So here if we look at the font for an example, it gives us more detail than we had in this box, but it's still working with the font. I'm going to click Cancel for now. As we are working through each of these, we'll see that each one is going to have some different options. The next part that we want to see is that right now I have the ruler turned on. We have our main space where we can see the page. We can see where our changes are actually being made. They're going to show up here. Yours may or may not have a ruler on the sides. That's turned on through the View tab. We could also turn on grid lines if you were. It's more important if you're going to use images and you want to make sure those are lined up, or we could add a navigation pane, but we'll get to more of that in later lessons. Another important part to know about with our just introduction to Microsoft Word is what's called the Quick Access Toolbar. So as you saw when we click on the different tabs, our ribbon commands change that we can use. The Quick Access Toolbar, those are going to stay the same. So the default that most of your computers will have will just be this icon, which is for save, an undo icon, and a redo or a repeat icon that would allow you to take away the last action or add another action to that. We can also add and customize our Quick Access Toolbar by clicking this drop down here. And so if we wanted to, let's say, have print always come up, we can click and add that, and that's now added a print preview, and then would be a print option that would be there. If we wanted to add our spell check, we can add that. And again, this is a Quick Access Toolbar, and this gives us commands that are not going to change as we switch between tabs. So while we're talking about the Quick Access Toolbar and we see the save icon, let's talk about what we need to do to save a document. This is going to become very important because chances are if you're working in Microsoft Word, it's because you want to have something saved there. You're working on a document that you're going to want to either be able to print out, save, and come back to work on later. So there's two types of saves, but they're both under the File tab. We have Save and then Save As, and it's important to know the difference in when you should use each one. The Save As tab allows us to save a new file. It's not going to be rewriting a different file, it's going to actually be creating a new file on your computer that you can come back to. This is the one that you should always choose the first time you're saving a document. So if you come up to a new document and you want to save that, we can click Save As, and then we can enter the name and select the place. I'm going to select that I want to save it to the PC, and then I want to save it to my desktop. I'm going to give it a name. We're going to call this Practice Document. I'm saving it to the desktop, and then click Save. One thing to notice is that up here it changed the name of our document and now gave it a title in the title bar of practice document, which is what I saved it as. And so now, even though I still have not made any changes to my actual document, if I were to save it, it would save it to this file. A file has been created, and because I saved it to my desktop, it would now show up on my desktop. The other option for saving is just the save option. And what this does is it just updates whatever the current saved file is. So if I were to make a change to practice document and then save it again, it would update those changes, but you would not have created two separate files. It would have just updated the old file that I had already connected. And then the last thing that we're going to go over just in our general introduction are then how do we move around within the text. And so I'm going to start. You can see that we've got this little flashing line and that my mouse looks like what we'd call an I-beam. We're going to call that either the I-beam pointer. And so this will select it, or the insertion point, which is the flashing line, which is where our text is going to start to appear. Then I can just begin typing. So I can have my sentence, this is how to enter text in a Word document, and then some other things that we can do. I can press enter and it will move me down to the next line. I can also use the arrow keys to move. However, if I'm pressing down, because I've not actually moved down to that next line, it's not going to allow me to do that until I've actually had the insertion point on that line, and then I can move through the lines using the arrow keys, which is what I'm currently doing. There are a lot of shortcuts that can be used, primarily using the control key, and one thing that you'll see if you have commands that you use over and over again is that many of our commands have shortcuts. So you can see when I put my mouse over this one, so to align left, if I hold Control and L, it tells us what that shortcut would be to align left. Control E will center the text, so if I selected this text here, and Control E, it's going to center it. But there are a lot of different shortcuts that we can use, and most of them that have a shortcut, if you hold the mouse over top of them, it's going to give you a screen tip, and that's going to tell you what the shortcut would be for that option. So I hope that this basic introduction has been helpful. Check out some of the other videos to see more in depth of how you can actually begin creating, editing, and working with documents in Word, in Microsoft Word. Thank you.